beautiful ignited souls, Crime Queen. Hey, your partner in crime. Now, this is coinciding with the awakening of that which I have been trying to do to get people to understand that there is a healing that needs to happen on a global scale, especially when it comes to sexual abuse. Now, we have seen a very sexually impolite person has been making headlines in our communities in ways that are very unsavourable. And we are talking about a minor. Now, I am speaking to you from one who has experienced that kind of trauma at this very same age and even younger. And so, this is my quest that we need to have this awakening, because what has happened is that, especially in our communities, we have not understood the extent of that trauma. It is something that goes deeper than anything else that you can imagine. I mean, having sexual interference with someone, whether it was intercourse or you were touching that part of the person or awakening a certain sensation or vibration in a person, that is something, that is the force, that is the energy that brings a new life, that can bring about new life, new creativity, new existence into the world. That's how powerful it is. And so it is important we understand the detriment of our actions, or people understand the detriment of their actions interfering with people who are underage and without consent. And even if one was of age and they didn't consent to your behavior or your proposition, that has to be respected. Too often, it's just like we think we see a flower, we can't see it without touching it. We see a fruit, we can't seem to see it without touching it. We feel, or particularly a lot of people feel, that they have to touch it. They have to squeeze it. They have to know whether it's ripe, if it's ready, or whatever it is, because there is no restraint of their desires or their sexual desires or their propensity that has been a seed that perhaps has been passed on to them. They can't seem to control themselves. So I am speaking and touching on what we call generational curse. Generational curse is not often addressed as strongly as we should do, because no one really wants to speak about it. It is still taboo. I mean, when I was writing the Crimson Light 2 volumes, I was able to ask my parent a question, my mother in particular. I was able to ask, well, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say? Otherwise, I could have maybe known how to find the strength to be able to avoid this thing happening. No, because of the secrecy and the hiding that they were actually exhibiting or displaying, this is what you learn. You learn to hide. You learn to hide. And if someone else were to or you were to speak or say something, you are evil, you are going to ruin the family name. We see all those things happening all the time. As I say, people, the flower is ready, and often even parents, particularly fathers, they feel that they have to touch the flower, pick the flower, deflower the fruit, as they would see it, as their right. This happens for numerous of reasons, not just about sexual pleasure. It happens in the occult world as well, that people feel that they have to, and the Bible speaks and supports this as well, that I think it was Abraham who had his sons, and he was ready, or angels, and he was ready to offer his daughters to strange men or they called angels, and so they could have their way. As he said, do as you please with them. They have not known men, meaning that they were virgins and they could do whatever they wanted with them because he just wanted to save some men who were bringing him news of some sort. So these things have been permeated in our minds from religious backgrounds, religious settings, people in authority, and all kinds of directions. But I am saying, people, it's time for us to be awoken to the reality that sexual seed or sexual interference or any kind of thing like that goes way deep into our psyche, and that is what inhibits creativity for what we are meant to do, be, or have. So I have been talking quite a bit, and of course, I have been blessed, if you like, or enriched to find this divine solution of TRSHC. But my purpose for this video here is to highlight that another distasteful news about some impolite celebrity touching, squeezing, or whatever it was of a 14-year-old. Now, I did speak about the number 14 is very prominent in numerology right now. You will be hearing a lot about 14 because like here is this sound here, my grandma would say I am speaking the truth. So in this 14, the number 14, which is very pinnacle for creation, this is another that you could actually see this scenario. It's going to shake the world to the core, and people are going to now be more aware, be more conscious. This is what I mean about the number 14. This is just like when we had Trump and Biden. Both names equal 7, and of course 7 plus 7 is 14. 1 plus 4 is 5. This is going to be like what you call Christ, or you may not call it Christ, but this is the revelation here. We won't go too far into this right now. So it is very impolite for us to behave in this kind of ways that we have seen happening in social media, and it's been happening time and time again, even around our celebrities. One thing I quickly want to note and to mention is that this generational curse, like everything has a season and a time, like the scriptures in Genesis says, the days and years were for signs of seasons. The days and years were given for signs and seasons. That means that everything has a season, particularly if there is a seed that has been planted. This is why we have to break the generational curse. Otherwise, it will turn into another cycle or form another cycle. And when the time for bearing that fruit comes, one will find themselves in a weakened stage where they feel compelled to exhibit that unflavorable, I don't know, that distasteful kind of behavior. So I am saying, my dear, wonderful, ignited souls, let us be awoken. Let us realize the importance of breaking the generational curse. It is not just about you surviving and saying, I'm a survivor. Yes, I have overcome. It is about breaking the cycle, breaking the generational curse, breaking the law of silence. That's what it is about. Please join me on YouTube. I am Crimey Queen, your partner in crime.